Hi and welcome. Thank you for joining me for my 5th Sunday live stream. Right now I understand that it is only going live to YouTube, so hopefully anybody that tried to find it on Facebook has moved over to YouTube. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Asheville, North Carolina, and I hope it is wherever you are too.
Well, I came to our town for maybe an hour. The streets, they got swept and they planted some flowers. Babies a kiss to the people he waved, and he stopped at a Civil War general's grave, and he struck just the right pose and he hit just the right chord. When he spoke of the family and then of the Lord, he addressed the concerns of the common man. He spoke of the glory of this mighty land. Color and his smile was fixed, and his wardrobe assembled from a bag full of tricks. And he had gobs of makeup that were caked on his face, starch in his collar, every hair was in place. And his wife stood beside him, and his daughter did too. Behind them the flag with the red, white and blue. Balloons from the rafters, they fell to the floor. Oh, happy days, we're gonna be here once more. All the right words he quoted Bob Dylan songs. He sounded hip even though he quoted them wrong. And his closets are cleaned and his history revised, so his record would be spotless in most people's eyes. He could sell you a war, he could revoke your rights and still come off as your friend in the camera lights. And he'll run negative ads if he has to win. He'll go back on his word and he will shed his old skin. By this guy in the least. He was no savior, I think he was the beast. And I have to admit, they staged a good show. It was all reminiscent of 4 years ago, when he came to our town for maybe an hour. The streets, got swept and they planted some flowers. Babies he kissed to the people he waved, and he stopped at a Civil War general's grave. And after an hour, they whisked him away. Things went back to normal, but it took 2 or 3 days. The homeless returned to living outside, and the flowers that they planted, they all wilted and died. Yes, it came to our town for maybe an hour. The streets, they got swept and they planted some flowers.
Well, since they're back on the campaign trail, I thought I'd lead off with that song there. I've been asked many times over the years whether I wrote that about a Republican or a Democrat, and the answer, of course, is yes, I did. I'd like to take a second here to welcome my assistant, Barbie Angel, who is a fantastic poet in her own right. She is the winner 9 years running of the best poet in Western North Carolina, according to the readers in the weekly free music magazine, free news magazine. So Barbie's going to be answering any questions you might have in the comments and dropping URLs into the comments as well. This show is a non-ticketed event because I want everybody to be able to watch, and I don't want anyone who can't afford to watch not being able to. So this is a pay whatever you want, and anything that you might throw in the tip jar would be greatly appreciated. This is my only way of making a living these days, as you probably know. So I had a visit last night from a mama bear and 5 cubs. And so I think I ought to play a song about the Cubs. Why not? When the Chicago Cubs won the World Series a few years back, I was immediately besieged by all sorts of requests to write a brand new song about the Cubs, because I had one already called The Curse of the Billy Goat. And when the Cubs won, not even 10 minutes after the final out, I got the first email telling me I need to write a new song. And everywhere I went for the next several months, people kept saying, I need to write a new song. Follow that up. So this is it. This is called The Funeral for the Curse.
It was the 13th of never. It had been a very long wait for another week with 2 Wednesdays. Hadn't happened since 1908. Red snowflakes were falling. There was a very blue moon, and all the folks in Chicago were singing a Steve Goodman tune. Cats were chasing dogs that day. Water ran uphill. Flocks of pigs were flying, and the champagne had been chilled. It was a short-sleeved night in November. The wind didn't even blow, and from hell they were reporting more than 7 feet of snow. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Well, no one alive could remember the last time Easter fell in May, or another evening in the autumn celebrating Christmas Day. But the fish had climbed the poplars, and the cows were coming home. The sun rose in the west the day the curse was overthrown. Some said that they were ready. They had hung on just for this. They had crossed off all the other things above it on the list. And the ghosts no longer haunted now that they could finally rest. And old men and their fathers wept, love was unrepressed. They finally had a parade. Leading there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Well, now anything's liable to happen. Keep your eyes on the dominoes and expect the unexpected. Always wear clean underclothes, 'cause it was in the month of Sundays, second Wednesday of the week. There was hugging in the tavern, lots of kissing on the cheek. They finally had a parade. Laden there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. Yeah, they finally had their parade. Laden there was a hearse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. There was nothing but joy in Mudville. They threw a funeral for the curse. So, I might as well play another baseball song. I think I'll play you my very first. This is a song that I wrote back in the mid-1980s. It's called Lefty. And it was a song, believe it or not, that I didn't believe anybody would want to hear. I didn't think anybody would want to hear a song about baseball. Funny how that turned out. But I kept that song in my back pocket for probably 7 or 8 years, and it wasn't until a campfire at the Kerrville Folk Festival in Texas after hours where I pulled that song out and played it for a few songwriter friends and was shocked at the reaction it got, and I started playing it at my live shows, and same thing. I was very surprised that people were so into a baseball song, and so one became 2, and 2 became 4, and 4 became 8. They're like bunnies. Today I've got 25 of them, and 22 of them are in the sound recording library of the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, and this was the very first one. Lefty's in the minors, got his shoulder packed in ice, and he's trying to hang on there against all that good advice. Used to throw that sinker, but that sinker ball went south. Then they started calling him for going to his mouth. Lefty holds the record for most strikeouts in a game. Once upon a time, he really threw a ball of flame. Some wish he'd gone gracefully when his time finally came. And they put Lefty on waivers and nobody laid a claim. And it's a God almighty shame he got too old to play the game. Where he made himself a name, they call him Lefty. For a good number of years, the bleacher bums all loved him. They were tanked up in their beer. Used to throw that heater, but the radar does not lie. When Lefty lays one up there, you can't kiss that thing goodbye. It's a God almighty shame he got too old to play the game. Well, he made himself a name, and they call him Lefty. They're calling him from Cooperstown out on the bullpen phone. Some little field in Bumfolk where the grass is overgrown. It's the bottom of the 7th, and a runner just got on, and now they're calling for a lefty. But Lefty's not the one. Say it with respect. He's senior Lefty down in Mexico and he's Lefty in Quebec. Because throw a curve around your neck. You could paint one on the corners. You could fill the upper deck. And it's a God almighty shame he got too old to play the game. Well, he made himself a name and they call him Lefty. It's a God almighty shame he got too old to play the game. Well, he made himself a name and they call him Lefty.
Oh, I have a message from Barbie, so let me just take a quick look. Oh, it was an earlier message. Telling me the sound is good on YouTube, so that's nice to know. Maybe it even showed up on Facebook. I've been living in Asheville, North Carolina for the last 25 years. And this is the very first song that I ever wrote when I moved here. I was told that there are two kinds of people who live here. Those who were born and raised, they are the been heres. Those who moved here like I did are the come heres. So this is called the come heres and the been heres.
Well, the come heres and the been heres, they don't get along. I'd been there 15 minutes, I knew something was wrong. The waitress was not friendly, but neither was the cook. Till I asked how far it was to the town of Stony Brook. Come heres live in cabins, and the been heres live in shacks. Say hello in passing, then talk behind each other's backs. White collars versus rednecks, horses versus mules. The city kids, they come here and make the teachers look like fools. Come here's come with laptops, weed and DVRs. Some of them have GPSs inside their hybrid cars. They want to make no smoking zones in all the public places. They want to pass an ordinance outlawing turkey races. Well, the ancestors have been heres that came here early on, when there were just the Indians, and once they were gone. They claimed themselves a new world, there was lots to go around. Carved up a bunch of properties and they built this little town. But now the come heres nearly have the votes to make one of them mayor. And in the last election, they won half the council chairs. They took over the school board, they outlawed the morning prayers. They're teaching evolution, sex education there. Well, the been heres do their drinking in a been here owned saloon. But in that brand new microbrewery, there's a separate dining room. And only at the Kmart or the Walmart will they mix. They think of one another as carrot nibblers and hicks. The come heres have the pussycats and the little white French poodles. The been heres have their hound dogs with names like Yankee Doodle. Come heres like to watch the ducks, some of them like to feed them. The been heres like to shotgun them and take them home and eat them. Well, the come heres keep a-comin', new ones every day that come for second chances, the new world, as they say. They buy and sell these properties for unheard of amounts. The come here's keep a coming, building up this little town. The come here's and the been here's, two towns that overlap. You would not even see it by just looking at your map. Well, I was there at Christmas time when the tree was just a tree, and you could not tell whose kids were whose, sitting there on Santa's knee. The come here's and the been here's, there's talk about a fence. The whole town is divided, half for, half against.
Hey, I would love to know where you're watching from today. If you could put that in the comments. Also, would love to let you know that if you're interested in having any of my music, my CDs are available from chuckbrodsky.com, and downloads are available from bandcamp.com, and the downloads are pay what you will. And Barbie will drop those URLs into the comments for you. You've probably heard me talk about the Lamb's Retreat for Songwriters up in Harper Springs, Michigan, which I've taught at several times and also attended years that I haven't been on the staff. Everybody there is given a songwriting assignment. You have 48 hours to write that song. We're each given a unique assignment. And Sunday morning, we all get together and play our songs. I've had several of these songs end up on albums and become songs that I play fairly frequently in my live shows. This is one of them. And what I had to do for this song was to take Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart and turn it into a song. So if you have never read The Telltale Heart, here are the cliff notes, the musical cliff notes.
I'll tell you why. I did not like his vulture's eye, stalking me like I was prey. I always had to look away. I did not kill him for his gold, 'cause I would make my blood run cold. Wasn't him that had to die. No, it had to be that vulture's eye. The vulture's eye would never blink. To torment me, sometimes it winked. I felt it follow me around. I faced it once, it stared me down. I'm not mad, how could I be? I planned it all so perfectly. This was the work of a brilliant mind. This vulture's eye, I made go blind. For 7 nights with a sliver from my lantern light. The vulture's eye was always closed. I waited till it was exposed. Killed the eye, cut off its head, its arms and legs when it was dead. Stuffed it underneath the floor. Now it can't look at me anymore. I'm not mad, it's just the sound of a suffocated heart that pounds. Don't you hear it pounding too? And isn't it too loud for you? I'm not mad, how could I be? I planned it all so perfectly. This was the work of a brilliant mind. That vulture's eye I made go blind. Loved the man who had to die. Yeah, I really, truly loved the guy. Never had a harsh word, never told a lie. But I could not stand that vulture's eye. The vulture's eye was a beady little eye. It was always dry, it would never cry. I kinda missed that poor old guy, but it had to die and I told you why. I'm not mad, how could I be? I planned it all so perfectly. Now you ask if I'm the crazy one. Well, didn't I do what you would have done? Yeah, didn't I do what you would have done?
So now you don't have to read it. Well, I think that if hockey can play in July and August, then I can sing a song about Christmas now. Only seems fair. This is a song that I wrote for my local radio station here in Western North Carolina. It's called WNCW, and they are one of the greatest stations ever. I mean, ever. I love them very much. And when I first moved to this area, they invited me to be part of an on-air Christmas party. They had invited about 50 musicians, maybe more, from all across the whole southeast region to come onto the studio that day. Everybody would play a Christmas song or two, and they had a big buffet. They had the thing catered. The whole idea was for us to all hang out with each other, get to know each other, which was wonderful for me as a newcomer to the area. I was going to get to meet all my peers. But I told them there's just one problem. Being Jewish, I don't know any Christmas songs, and they made the fatal mistake of telling me that's okay. I could just write one. Well, I wrote this song determined to make them sorry they had said that. Turns out they loved the song that day. And I had a local show in town just a few days after that, and people started calling out for this song, and I realized it's not, I thought it was just going to be something I played to one time, and I was very surprised to hear people calling out for it. But it's become a staple in my show through the years, and since it feels like Christmas, I'm going to play it now.
My family never roasted chestnuts on an open fire. We never ran around the neighborhood singing carols with the choir. Never went to midnight mass or sat on cold hard pews. My family, we had different views. Well, I never had to be good, just for goodness sake. And on Christmas Eve I did not try to keep myself awake, listening for sleigh bells and looking for a mouse. Santa always skipped over our house. Jimmy got a train set with a shiny new caboose. Billy in a rector set with nuts and bolts and screws. Tammy got a kit for making cheese fondues. But on Christmas, I got nothing, 'cause we were Jews. Well, I never put up trimmings, 'cause we never had a tree. Would not know a mistletoe from a torpedo's knee. Never sat on Santa's lap, but hey, if Jesus was a Jew, wouldn't that make Santa be one too? I used to hate when it was cold enough for Christmas to be white. I never hung a wreath of holly, never strung the yard with lights. Those other houses look so pretty, but the electricity they must have used. No, we lit candles, 'cause we were Jews. And I got a bike she had to wait till spring to use. Tommy from across the street, he got his front tooth. Joshua got a horn so he could learn to play the blues. Horns, oi, I already had some.
Well, I want to play this next song for Rob Earl. Before I do, though, just want to say that, like a lot of teenage boys, I used to butt heads with my dad around the dinner table growing up, and it was almost always the very same argument. Of course, my father, I'd bring up the fact that I was hoping I could go to law school after university, and my father, of course, would remind me that he and my mother had expectations that I would become a folk singer. And so, ultimately, I caved, and here I am.
Well, I was walking outside the city hall and I slipped and I had a terrible fall. Negligence on the part of it don't care who. I felt so hard I was seeing stars, dollar signs, men from Mars. The man who helped me up said I ought to sue. He was a lawyer. He was all out of breath. Well, once I had an accident, not too bad. Little dent, new Mercedes hit me from the rear. Man got out in a three-piece suit, asked if $10,000 would do, and I said, let me think for a minute here. Gonna talk to my lawyer. Think we got whiplash. Gotta have trauma. Let's not talk petty cash. I got a witness. Put a hand on the Bible. Jury, jury, hallelujah. He might be liable. Well, my mama said, Uncle Jim, I just don't know what's wrong with him. That son of mine is a no good big wazoo. Well, I have never overheard such a bunch of slanderous words. I'll tell you, Mama, got a mind to sue. I'm talking to my lawyer. Mama, that was vicious. Defamation of character, wrongful and malicious. I got a witness. Put a hand on the Bible. Jury, jury, hallelujah. He might be liable, Mama. When I was trying to open up my map, when I spilled my coffee on my lap, well, how was I supposed to know it was gonna be hot? I went back to that fast food place, to the manager with the happy face, and I want the name of whoever brewed that pot. Gonna talk to my lawyer, think we got a pretty good case. All I need is some crutches, and maybe I'll put on a neck brace. I got a witness, put a hand on the Bible. Jury, jury, hallelujah, somebody's liable.
I want to mention a thing or two. You could join my Patreon community. That would be another way of supporting me, and that's a wonderful way. If you're not familiar with Patreon, it's a site that I have set up on their system. That it's where I can share certain things that I will only share there. Give exclusive access to some songs, maybe a brand new song that isn't quite finished, but I just want to share it, or who knows, photos, stories. But it's a way that you can participate in supporting me with other people from around the world. Right now I have close to 60, I think, patrons, and I'd certainly love to build that up even more. I'll be doing some fun things like possible Zoom concerts, private concerts for you. And while I'm on this, I want to offer this as well to everybody out there, a private virtual Zoom concert. All you need to do is get a group of people together and let me know when you want to do it, and we'll do it over my Zoom account. I've done several of these so far, and they are a lot of fun. So, you might be shocked to find this out, but I hated disco music. I still hate it, but I really hated it in its day. I watched it sweep the singer-songwriter right off the radio dial. There was a time when singer-songwriter music was the pop stuff, the top 40 stuff. Then along came disco, and that was the end of that. And it's funny, I had a job between the time that I dropped out of college and the time that I headed west. I worked downtown Philadelphia for one of those discount electronics stores, 2nd and Market Street. There were about 7 of these stores on every block. And this particular store sold whatever the top 10 disco singles were. So this was one single song on a 12-inch piece of vinyl. And we had speakers inside the store and we had speakers outside the store. And we would play whatever the current number 1 hit was all day long. You know that arm on the record player, that when you want the needle to go right back to the beginning of the record at the end. And we kept that up, and there was a time when Ring My Bell, if you remember that song, was the number 1 hit. And I think it was the number 1 hit for something like, 30-some weeks. So every single day, I listened for 8 hours straight to Ring My Bell. Now, the Chicago White Sox did something back in, I think it was the late 70s or early 80s. They had a night called Disco Demolition Night. Their owner was a guy by the name of Bill Veeck. And Bill Veeck had pulled some crazy promotions in his day, but nothing that ever compared to this. The whole idea, this was co-sponsored by a rock radio station, and the whole idea was that fans, well, they weren't really baseball fans that came to that game, folks, but anybody that brought an LP record could get into the ball game for 98 cents. So this is called Disco Demolition Night.
Good riddance to the 70s when disco was the rage. 12-inch vinyl singles, lip-syncing from the stage. The White Sox near the cellar, there were mostly empty seats. There was the usual sarcasm from the writers on the beat. The owner of the White Sox was a fella named Bill Veeck, master of promotions, things you never would expect. The guy who signed a midget and then sent him up to bat, this time signed off on something even crazier than that. In between games of a twilight doubleheader, a rock and roll DJ would blow up disco records. And if you bought an LP, dropped it in the crate, you'd only have to pay 98 cents. Admission to the gate. On the buses to the ballpark, you didn't see a lot of kids. Didn't see too many baseball caps or many baseball mitts. People had been drinking long before they paid their fares. Traffic on the freeway backed up to O'Hare. Comiskey Park, Chicago didn't have as many seats as was needed to accommodate thousands in the streets. They started climbing fences, they started climbing poles. They had come to conquer in the name of rock and roll, but a slight miscalculation. They had underestimated by just how many people disco was so deeply hated. More police were needed, but nobody thought to call. The person on the sidewalk burned a John Travolta doll. No less than a miracle that no one was killed or maimed by disco record frisbees throughout the opening game. Some shattered on the dugout, some knifed into the grass. Some numbskulls roamed around looking to kick somebody's ass. Well, the White Sox lost the first game, whether anyone noticed it or not. There was trouble brewing in the air, but all you could smell was pot. The crowd was growing restless for the real show to begin. grounds crew came hauling all those disco records in. The Jeep that DJ rode in on stopped in center field. The driver left the motor running, left his hands upon the wheel. 1 foot on the gas pedal and 1 foot on the brake, while Lorelei, the supermodel, she just smiled and waved. The crowd was in a frenzy. They were yelling, "Disco sucks." It was very nearly rapture when they blew the records up. Sky High went to pieces, some landed in St. Paul. Most people yelled, "Woohoo!" and then drank more alcohol. About then, a bunch of knuckleheads, they jumped the right field wall. Jeep got through it just in time before the free-for-all. Must have been a couple thousand of them tearing up the grass, lighting things on fire. More than half an hour passed. Bill Vecchi stood at home plate, his face as red as beets. He pleaded through the PA system, "Go back to your seats." The crowd began to mimic him with a "Go back to your seats." Hey! A couple having sex at second base did not obey. Cops showed up on horseback, encircling the riot. Things calmed down in a hurry. Things pretty soon got quiet. Second game got forfeited because the ball field was a wreck. Disco was eradicated, partly thanks to Mr. Vec. I did promise a surprise a week or so ago. So, I'm going to show you something in a second. But first, I want to show you something else because it just caught my eye. I live in North Carolina. Just south of us in South Carolina, they actually have, direct from the state of South Carolina Secretary of State, they have the subversive agent form. Check this out. You cannot make this up. So if you are a subversive agent, you're required by law to file out this form, and there's a $5 filing fee. Just so you know. Well, I'm going to do something here I've been waiting a long time to do for you. Hang on just a second. Take a second to set this up. You may have heard me play this song on piano a week or two ago. Oh, I'm sorry, on guitar. Here's the piano version.
Your violin's ready, it's here in the shop. It's got a new bridge, it's got a new top. The neck it was broken, snapped in two, but now it's almost as good as new. I salvaged the splinters the best that I could. Wherever I couldn't, I patched up the wood. Sounds pretty good, looks okay. It's ready to pick up, it's ready to play. Music was silenced, locked in its case. Had to be hidden and not show its face. Stormtroopers came, kicked down the door, found it after they tore up the floor. Just for amusement they forced you to play. After you'd finished they took you away. They stomped it to bits, just left it there. Your violin's ready, I made the repairs. sack by the neighbor in case you might ever come back. Up in the attic, musty with mold, discovered after the house was sold. Wasn't much more than a bag of debris the day when it was delivered to me. The name inside was yours as well. Your violin has a story to tell. Every so often, another appears, like the rest that have found me over the years. Who'd it belong to? Where was it from? Who wore down the back of the neck with their thumb? I take the pieces and I make them whole, healing the body, waking the soul. I cut and I sand, I bend and I glue, in honor of him, in remembrance of you. I cut and I sand, I bend and I glue, in honor of him, in remembrance of you. Collected my prize, I took first place. The poor runner-up, sad look on her face. Didn't drink the champagne, left my ribbon there too. Okay, so I won, what good did it do? Okay, so I won, good did it do? I stood with conviction, I put up a fight for the truth as I saw it, for peace, love, and light. I fought off the darkness for the first round or two. I got my licks in, what good did it do? I got my licks in, what good did it do? In the end I was right, on further review, all those things I was saying proved to be true. I got an admission, an apology too. In the end I was right, what good did it do? In the end I was right, what good did it do? Tried to live by my morals, I spoke my mind. Some friends got offended, one or two they resigned. I was just being honest, they already knew. I just tried to remind them, what good did it do? I tried to remind them, what good did it do? And I could hold a grudge, I could probably hold two, if I didn't learn to budge. Could end up holding quite a few. Didn't like being angry, it's not enough being right. I'd rather be happy, that's a hard enough fight. I'd rather be happy with all of my might than to sit here and stew. What good would it do to sit here and stew? What good would it do? I'd rather be happy, happy with you.
Get back to the guitar now. You may not have known this, but the piano was my first instrument. Started to play it when I was a little baby, a little toddler, and then many, many years went past when I didn't have access to one, and I picked up the guitar instead, and have been clawing my way back for the last few years. So, I'll be playing a bit more of it in future weeks. I've been traveling a lot in Ireland over the years. I've actually made 35 trips to Ireland since 1998, I think, or 1999. And on one of my early trips, I think it was in 2001, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees were playing in the World Series, and it went to 7 games. And I really wanted to watch this game. It was on one of the British stations. I think it was on Sky Network. And with the time difference, since the game was in Arizona, I think there was a 7-hour time difference. And I happened to have a couple of days off. And I really wanted to watch this game undisturbed and have a chance to sleep in the next day. So I decided I was going to find myself a hotel room way out in the country, south of Dublin. And I drove around a bit and I found a place, and it looked idyllic. There were horse pastures all around, and I just thought this is going to be a great place to spend a couple of days. I'll be able to stay up all night, sleep in the next day. But folks, what you don't ever want to do when you walk into a hotel is carry a guitar in before you have made your reservations, because I did this, and I watched the little light bulb form over the desk clerk's head, and I saw that little bubble form and words start to fill it. Aha, musician, we can put him in room 213.
Funny kind of smell. Your feet stick to the carpet, what it is you cannot tell. Curtains you can't close them, toilet won't stop running. Lights that kind of flicker, there's a banging in the plumbing. Room over the bar, number 213. Not particularly large, not particularly clean. It's supposed to be a king bed, but it's not even a queen. On the nightstand are some dusty and outdated magazines. Bar is the one without a view. You can't open up the window, there's no light coming through. There's a great big concrete wall, you can look at it if you want. The rooms that have a view, they're all around the front. The room over the bar is the one they give musicians. It's the one they haven't fixed up, cause it's only for musicians. It's at least a couple burn marks on almost everything. You lie down on the bed and you feel each one of the springs. Over the bar, you'll find hairs on the sheets, broken down remote, you can't turn off the heat. Towel small as a washcloth in a shower that just dribbles. TV with 3 channels on the ceiling on a swivel. Room over the bar, you hear everything below. All sorts of filthy language, must be where all the cussers go. Some words I never heard before, and some I've not heard since. Used a few myself, but 1 or 2 of them made me wince.
has a guitar player below. He's got people singing all the songs that people know. The sound is all distorted and it's turned up way too loud. There's some really awful singing going on there in the crowd. Room over the bar, it's never gonna close. You got to get up early, but that's just the way it goes. They quit serving at midnight, but the last one leaves at 4. Then you toss and turn for a couple hours more. The room over the bar has a funny kind of smell. Joshua. I want to say hi to any of my friends in Denmark that might be watching this. I love Denmark. I've had the pleasure of visiting Denmark many times. I lived in Denmark in the mid-1980s. I was a busker, street musician. And I have been back 5 times to play that fantastic festival called the Tunner Festival, and I've done a couple of tours of Denmark, and I'm scheduled to do a tour of Denmark this September. Who knows if that's going to happen or not? Fingers crossed, all of them. I would love to get back and see you guys. Love to be able to be in your beautiful country. So, if it's at all possible, if your country will let me in, being an American, I will gladly come. On one of my trips to the Tunner Festival, I learned this story about how the Danes responded during World War II when the order came down from the Nazis to round up the Jews. This is called A Dane Was a Dane. Gardens were tended, the animals fed, even the blankets were tucked in the bed. Nothing was broken, the walkways were swept, everything looked like it did when they left. Government stepped down, they firmly refused to carry out the order to round up the Jews. A Dane was a Dane, and the law was the law. There'd be no Jewish question in Denmark at all. Sweden was willing to take them all in till it was safe to go back home again. By the time word of the plan was leaked, they only would have till the end of the week. No organization, no chain of command. It was just everybody lending a hand. Schools were closed and work shut down while the people were moved to little harbor towns. They came for the ones who had already gone to passenger ships that they didn't get on. After spending a week in the harbor waiting, they steamed away from Copenhagen. Hidden in hospital beds, bandages wrapped around their faces and heads. Some were hidden in homes and in schools and in back yard sheds with the garden tools, rowboats, fishing boats, dinghies and yachts. Took them the 9 or 10 miles across the German patrols. They hadn't a clue, right under their noses and back again too. They came for the ones who had already gone, 2 passenger ships that they didn't get on. After spending a week in the harbor waiting, they slipped away from Copenhagen. The crossings were made under cover of night, aiming for those faraway lights. Babies were drugged to keep them asleep. Nobody spoke, nobody breathed, and 7,000 Danish people were saved. Thanks to the neighbors, decent and brave. And when they got home, their walkways were swept. Everything looked like it did when they left. They came for the ones who had already gone, 2 passenger ships that they didn't get on. After spending a week in the harbor waiting, they slept away from Copenhagen.
I have 2 more songs to play for you today. A couple of things I might want to just make sure I go over. Well, that's about it. I mentioned Patreon, and I mentioned my CDs and my digital downloads from both my website and Bandcamp. And any contribution you would like to make to the various tip jars would be very much appreciated. I would like to sing this next song for all of my Facebook friends. I was a real latecomer to Facebook. I successfully avoided it for its first 10 years, maybe. But no less than John McCutcheon himself, a folk god, persuaded me that I needed to be on social media. And that was about 10 years ago. And so I signed on to Facebook, and within about a week I had 2,000 friends. And so I wrote this song called 2,000 Friends. Facebook caps you on your personal page at 5,000 friends, and I often am at that limit. So if you're not already a Facebook friend and you try to go to my page and you want to friend me and it says that I'm at my limit, just try again a day or 2 later, because people also unfriend me.
Sometimes I sit here in the dark, just light of the screen. Maybe I don't get dressed, have a little more caffeine. Sometimes I stay up late, time goes by. I say what's on my mind, and I hope for a reply. I never stay away long, I start missing all my friends. I post my photographs, I use my very best lens. Sometimes the comments never come, sometimes I sit and I wait. Oh, won't you please like me? Is there someone who can relate? Nobody ever writes me letters, I don't know why I have a phone. I got a couple thousand friends now, I don't feel so alone. Sometimes I drop them a line, sometimes they think of me too. They wanna know if I'm okay, in just a sentence or two. And I know cooked Italian, know who got new shoes. I know who had to pull a tranny and who's away on a cruise. I know who got that dreaded letter. I know who just switched shampoos. I know who's using smiley faces. And I know who's got the blues. I know who likes what. I know who's friends with who. I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who's having a birthday. I know who just lost their job. I know it rained in Sarasota for a little while and then it stopped. I found a lot of old classmates, people I once knew. Everybody went their own ways, as people these days will do. Some of them got wealthy, and some are living hand to mouth. Some of them are up north still, some have settled in the south. All of my old flames got married, some they got divorced. Of the ones who have fallen, some never got back on the horse. And the ones who did have children, none of them look like me. I hope that everybody's happy. I hope that everybody's free. I know who likes what. Know who's friends with who. I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who just lost a father and who's decided to adopt. I know it rained in Sarasota for a little while and then it stopped. Prayers for my friend in Uganda, my friends in Israel and Iran, Nova Scotia, Ireland and Denmark, Lithuania and Japan. Well, I hope someday to meet them, their place or mine. But for now it makes me happy when I see them here online. And I know who got a puppy, I know whose rose bushes died, and the ones who own ponies, sometimes I tell them I can ride. You know, I flirted with some women, well these days how can you tell? Some of them could have been men. And then there was the time when Elvis asked if he could be my friend. I know who likes what, know who's friends with who. I know what everybody just did, what they're planning to do. I know who's fighting cancer, sometimes I just start to sob. I know it rains in Sarasota for a little while and then it stops. I know it rains in Sarasota for a little while and then it stops. I know it rains in Sarasota for a little while and then it stops.
Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm going to play you one more song and I'm going to move back to the piano to do it. So thank you all very much for tuning in this week. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks to Barbie Angel once again. And check her out, barbieangel.com. It's Angel with 2 L's. She also has a Facebook page. She also has a YouTube page. You can see some of her live performances. I'm going to finish, like I do every week, with a song that I wrote back in 1981. This song has been covered by a lot of people through the years, a lot of friends. My friend David Lamont in Black Mountain, North Carolina has recorded this song. My friend Tom Payne has recorded the song. Sarah Hickman has recorded this song. The African Children's Choir of Uganda has recorded the song, and Kathy Mattea recorded the song in a film once called Dear Mr. Goodlife. So thank you again for tuning in. I'll be back next Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern. Hope you'll tune in again.
Well, I hope I see you later, 'cause it's time for me to go. That's my ride, just put over, and it sure was good to know you. So go answer your calling, go and fill somebody's cup. If you see an angel falling, won't you stop and help them up? 'Cause we are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. We keep each other going, and we show each other signs. Sometimes you'll stumble, sometimes you'll just lie down, sometimes you'll get lonely with all these people around. You might shiver when the wind blows, and you might get blown away. You might lose a little color, you might lose a little faith. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Each other going and show each other signs. So thank you for the water. Thought I was gonna die out here in the desert, but you quenched my thirst. Let's break a little bread together. Got a little manna. It was a gift from someone who was passing by. Offered me a lift. We are each other's angels, and we meet when it is time. Keep each other going, and we show each other signs.
Be safe, be well. See you next week. Thank you.